welcome back to the video series on my restoration of the Grundig Stereo 5195. As you noticed in the last couple of videos, I made quite a bit of progress on the chassis. So this means that I feel confident right now that I will be able to get this radio working. So I thought, well, then it's also worthwhile to start working on the cabinet itself. So there's still a lot of cleaning to be done. I haven't cleaned the cabinet yet. The grill cloth here needs to be cleaned thoroughly. And of course inside still a lot of dust also. So what else needs to be done? Well, as you see here, for example, these parts here, they are completely white, and I think that's the goal. It looks like this is sort of brass, but it's painted white. So I think it should be like this. I think it just needs a bit of cleaning. You can see it over here as well. There you can see that the paint is starting to flake off. So according to me, this is how it should be. So not gonna do much on that. Then here the logo should be more golden, so that I also have to clean that. And then here, this is quite interesting. Here you have the badge with the Grundig logo and the indicator, so Stereo 5195. And well, I checked online and I found a couple of pictures of how it actually should look like. And it seems that the left one here is quite okay. This needs to be indeed a brown badge with white lettering. The edges need to be golden, but that's the brass which is not coming through due to the, well, oxidation. So I'll be cleaning that a bit. But this one here needs to be completely gold. So there you can see this turned completely black over time. So that needs cleaning, and the letters inside actually should be brown. And there are some parts in there, especially here in the 5 here in the middle, where the brown paint in the number is flaking off. So that needs to be cleaned, and then also the numbers need to be repainted in brown paint. And then on the inside there is also quite a lot of work. So as you see here, there is still a lot of cleaning to be done inside. I haven't touched it yet, so the amount of dirt that was on the chassis, it's about the same here. So what I will do, I will probably remove all the speakers and check if they are still okay. And when I was looking at the speakers, I noticed something interesting. For example, if you look at this one here, then you'll notice that from the factory here, they indicated with some yellow paint here, as you can see over there, they indicated the original position of the bolt and the nut here, which is used to attach the speaker. It's quite difficult to show it on camera, but this, and here you can see it as well. So this means that you can clearly see that this speaker has never been removed, because the paint is still in the original position on there. And it's the same for the other two speakers, but not for this one on here on the right. Here you can clearly see that there is paint on the nut, but not on the bolt. And here the paint is completely gone. So this means that this speaker here is not an original one. This one has been replaced. And also you see the sticker here on the speaker. It's an original Grundig sticker and label, but it's not the same as the label on the other 3 speakers. So I guess this one is not original. I don't think it matters a lot, but I'll just have to check if all the speakers are still fine. Now, what you can do to test the speaker is you can just hook up a signal generator, which is what I did, and I put a resistor of, in this case it's 63 ohms, because I just had this one lying around here somewhere. So I just put this resistor in series with one of the leads to make sure that, well, I guess to protect the signal generator a bit. Honestly, I don't think it will be a big issue, but this way the very low impedance of the speaker won't damage the signal generator. So what you can do is you can just generate a sine wave, for example 400 Hertz is what I have now here on the signal generator, and an amplitude of 1 volt peak to peak is more than enough. Just make sure before you activate the output that it's not set too high so you don't blow out your own ears. Just so, for example, 1 volt peak to peak, 400 Hertz, and this is working indeed, so this speaker is fine. So I did the same thing for all the 3 other speakers, and all of them are working fine. Another thing that you could do is you could use a sweep. Then you can just check the entire range of the speaker at once. So for example here, if you do a sweep of let's say 5 seconds, okay, and then if you push the wrong button, if you sweep time 5 seconds, and then if you say, for example, let's do a sweep from 100 Hertz until 15 kilohertz, amplitude 1 volt peak to peak. So if you do this, then you should have the entire range of the speaker at once. So see, the speaker is clearly working fine, and you can do this for all the speakers in the radio, and then you're certain that it's working fine. Small remark: before you do it, you can just with a multimeter check continuity here between the leads, and just make sure that you have continuity at all, and that the coil isn't open or anything. So just check that you have a couple of ohms here between the leads. Then that should already indicate that the coil is fine. Well, it keeps amazing me how much grime, how much dust and dirt is coming out of this radio. So now I took out everything from the cabinet, all the speakers and the front panel, and so I'm now cleaning the inside of the cabinet. And as you see, these 2 metal, well, foil, aluminium foils here, they are used as the dipole antenna for the FM, and I'm cleaning that. So you can see the right part I already cleaned it, the left part is still to do. So yeah, you can clearly see that it's quite dirty. Remember, I said some time ago as well that the Grundig logo here is held in place with a nail which is hammered through the R. That's not, of course, that should not be like this. So I'm gonna try to remove the logo from the cabinet and check what is wrong here, and if I can fix it somehow. Well, as I expected, so this is the logo, and normally it's held in place with 2 nails. See, so there's like one here on the eye attached to the logo, and then there should be one on the R here as well, but that one has broken off and it's still in here, so you can still see it there in the smaller of the 2 holes. You can still see the metal which is normally was attached here to the logo. So what they did is they just hammered the small nail through the R to keep it in place. Yeah, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean this so that it shines nicely again, and then I hope I'm gonna think about how I can manage to fix this. Not sure yet, so need to think about that. Ta-da! Nice and shiny. I buffed the brass on the letters of the logo, so this is the type of detail which I really love in this kind of restorations. This really, this will really make the radio pop. It's I really like the result. So the second nail I still need to fix. That will be for when I'm going to put the radio back together. So still have quite some time to think about how I'm going to fix that. Shouldn't be a big issue, I think. Well, if nothing else, I could use some super glue or anything. If I can just avoid putting a visible nail through the R of the Grundig, that would already be very nice. So now, about restoring the lacquer of the cabinet, I was considering to just sanding all the lacquer off and applying some new coat. The problem, however, the nice thing about this cabinet, however, is that the lacquer is still, and the veneer is still in quite good condition. There are some small scratches here and there, and the lacquer is a bit cracked overall, but for its age, it's still quite nice. There are some small chips here, like this one, or like that one. That's quite the largest damage, I think, on the entire cabinet. And here on the corner you can also see that there are small parts which are damaged, but overall it's still quite nice. So I changed my mind, and I now think that I'm just going to try and buff it instead of removing the entire lacquer and applying a new varnish on the wood. It's always nice if you can keep it more original. I already actually tried it on this side of the cabinet, and the result is actually quite fine. There are still some small scratches, but it's definitely improved. I might still also wax it afterwards to get it a bit more shiny, but I'm just going to do this to the entire cabinet. So what I'm using here for this is Commandant Scratch Remover M5. I don't know if this is also available in other countries, but in Belgium this is quite easy to find, and this is actually a product used to restore the car paints, and this is one of the lesser aggressive ones. Okay, so I finished buffing. It actually the result is quite nice. I can still polish it a bit, but I'll do that later, I think. So there are still a small amount of scratches, but I think you'll not notice it in a normal under normal lighting. The lighting here is quite harsh, so you see every small little scratch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill in this hole here with wood filler and then color it afterwards, and I hope I can match the color of the cabinet sufficiently so that it doesn't that you don't notice it anymore. Here is also small dent here. This thing, I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with. I think it's a mark from a cigarette or something. And here in the back it's also, but it's, for the rest the cabinet is looking quite nice. It's only this hole which I'm gonna do now. Okay, so I filled in both holes, and now it's just a matter of leaving this to dry for an hour or so. Then I can start sanding it, and then I hope I'll be able to match the color and color it in, and see if I can match the color of the wood enough. Also there on that corner also I filled in a bit. So this is the grill with the speaker cloth. So I tried cleaning that one. As you can see, it is quite dirty. It's not extremely bad. I have seen much worse radios, but as you see here on the side, this is originally how it should be. Especially so the white thread has become completely yellow over time, and there are also some spots and some stains here and there. Overall it's not that bad, but I tried cleaning it. I didn't really succeed, didn't have much success. I tried shaving foam and dry cleaning foam. Both of them didn't really seem to have any effect. On the contrary, it seemed to make it worse. So everywhere where I tried cleaning, the fabric started to get dull, started to get really fluffy. So I just stopped, and I decided for the moment, for now, I'm gonna leave it like this. Maybe if at some later point I'm finding some better way to do this, but at the moment I don't see any safe way to do it. I read online that you should put it in bleach, so you should remove the cloth, put it in a mixture of water and bleach, but I'm not ready to do that. I don't feel confident in doing that, especially since the cloth is okay, it's dirty, but it's not that bad. I think it's still acceptable. So for the moment I'm gonna leave it. What I can do, however, is here the logo. I buffed it up, and as you see, some of the paint here in the lettering came off, so I'm gonna touch that up with some paint. And also I still need to buff a bit here the sides of the logo, which is also really difficult because it's very hard to reach and very hard to clean it without touching the grill cloth, and you'll easily make it dirty here around the sides. So it's time to do a Bob Ross imitation again. I'm gonna touch up these letters here with brown paint, and I'm gonna use Van Dyke Brown. Let's see. Let's see how the color matches. Actually, that's not that bad. It's a bit too light, but normally when the paint dries it gets a bit darker, so I think this is gonna be quite a good match. So now let's paint this in very carefully. Let's see if it is acceptable. So this was filled with wood filler, and then I applied some wood coloring to it, and as you can see, the color is matching quite fine. Okay, it's not that it's completely invisible, but for me this is enough. I made up my mind in the way that I'm going to restore this cabinet, the radio in general, and that's that I'm going to try to keep it as original as possible. Of course, the best way to, or the best is of course relative, but the best way to restore such a thing would be to just sand off all the lacquer and just apply a new coat of lacquer. The problem, however, as I already said, is that the coating here is actually in general still quite okay. So then you have two approaches. Either you completely redo the coating, and this applies also to other parts of the radio. You just respray it and then the radio looks like it's coming out of the factory, or you just do touch-ups and you try to keep it as original as possible. And it's always a bit of a balance between these two approaches, and it's every time when I start restoring something, then I reach a point where I need to decide do I go for the brand new approach, so just redoing everything, repainting everything, or do I go for an approach where you try to keep everything as much as original as possible, and then you need to be satisfied with having small defects like this, of course. And I think I'm going to use that approach for this radio. The cabinet and the radio in general is just still too good in condition, which is too nice to justify redoing it completely, I think. So same thing here. So on this side I also did some touch up, so it's actually quite good. You can barely notice it. So there, see, like this you can see it better, and here you can also see that the lacquer is still quite nice. It's nice and shiny still. Of course you have the normal cracks and the normal small scratches, but this is normal for a radio of this age, and especially the cracks in the lacquer are quite normal, because the radio, when it's turned on, it heats up and then it cools down, and then it heats up and it cools down, so the lacquer expands and contracts and expands and contracts, and it will crack after a while. So even if you would completely redo the complete finish of the radio, after some years you'll get the same effect again. So that doesn't bother me at all. So I'm going to put the cabinet aside for a while. It might be that I still do a bit more of restoration just at the end, when I'm putting the radio completely back together. Especially the grill, the front panel there. I might still do some things, I'm not sure yet. But for the moment I'll stop working on the cabinet, because look what arrived in the mail, what just arrived. Yay! All the capacitors that need to be replaced in the chassis just arrived by post, so I can start working on that, and then the next video will probably be on recapping the chassis, and I'll probably start with the audio circuit first. So that's for the next video. So see you there, and if you enjoyed my videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and you can also watch all the other videos in the series. So see you until the next video. Bye bye.